Hello and welcome to Is It True by the St. Peter's Youth Team. I'm Daniel. This time, if God is good and powerful, why does he allow suffering? It is clear that our world is full of suffering. Think back over 2020. The year started with bushfires in Australia. There was the death of George Floyd that led to the Black Lives Matter movement and protests. There was an explosion in Beirut that killed at least 190 people. There are wildfires in California and Washington, and of course the COVID-19 pandemic that has killed thousands and has affected young and old and rich and poor. These are just a few examples of suffering in our world, looking at one of many years. Christianity teaches that there is a good and powerful God. Well, if God is good, if God is powerful, how can he allow this suffering? Okay, so maybe God isn't powerful. Well, that's not the case. The Bible shows that God created the universe through the power of his word. Look at your hand. Can you see how detailed it is, with different veins and bones and lines, etc.? Well, God was able to make us and make us this detailed through the power of his word. Humans like to think we are powerful. Think how hard humans tried to stop the suffering we saw in 2020. Such as firefighters tackling wildfires, people protesting against racial inequality, scientists working for a vaccine to stop COVID spreading. We just aren't as powerful as we think. But God is powerful. He could stop all these things in an instant if he wanted to. Okay, so if God is powerful and he can stop things if he wants to, then maybe God isn't good. Well, again, that's just not the case. The author of the Narnia books, C.S. Lewis, says that God is not merely good, but goodness itself. Goodness is not merely divine, but God. He says that God is not just good, but he is goodness. God is the meaning of good. What he means by that is that goodness comes from God. All things that are good come from him. Think back to the story of creation. God made the world, and it was good. He put all good things into the world, and he continues to sustain all of the good things in creation. So God is good, and God is powerful. So why isn't he dealing with suffering? Well, actually, he is. Suffering is in our world as a result of sin being brought into the world. God sent his son Jesus into the world to defeat sin and suffering through his death and resurrection. And Jesus will come back again. When he does, suffering will be removed from our world. There'll be no more bushfires or wildfires, no more racial injustice and that need protests to fight, no more explosions, no more COVID. Revelation 21 verse 4 paints this picture so beautifully. Says he will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away. The question is, as you wait, will you trust God to remove suffering from this world and be part of this final day, or not?